just for anyone who doesn't know, this is what the Grok logo looks like, by the way. And I just wanted to touch on something else that Elon's talking about. Done a little illustration of his plan for data centers in space. Why does he want to do this? Well, everyone may know by now that AI consumes a lot of energy, and it's becoming one of the biggest contentious issues about AI because it's consuming a lot of energy from the grid, or AI companies having to build their own power plants to fuel this AI because domestically it's a very sensitive topic, and that will prevent the AI propagation, because if they can't consume literally terawatts of energy, then we won't get to where we need to be, i.e. having this like godlike AI that can solve all of our problems, create an abundant future. So I love this mindset from Elon, just first principles, where he's looking at humanity on the Kardashev scale, which is like available energy consumption in the universe, and we're at like Kardashev 0.01. One is you're using all the available energy on Earth, on your home planet, and we're not even near that. And then two is consuming all the energy from your sun. Three is like local star clusters. Four, galaxy and things like that. So he's thinking of things in a macro lens and going, well, how much energy does the Earth get? The Earth gets about 0.0001% of the sun's energy. So nothing really. It gets absolutely nothing. So he's saying go to space, create solar arrays around data centers, and try and get as close as we can to 0.1% just locally around the orbit of Earth, so that we can basically 1,000 to 1,000,000x the total available energy input to these space data centers, and therefore no longer a domestic issue. No one can complain. It's not using any energy on Earth, and it's going to completely help Earth. So it's he's looked at a problem domestically and politically and gone, it, we're going to space then, and he's already got the rockets to do it. So it's from a business mindset perspective. Obviously, the guy's on a different level, and caveat to that, as you guys will know on this podcast, I've talked about building on the moon, and like I'm determined that that's the end goal of something I want to achieve in life. And Elon's now changed his goalpost from Mars to the moon, and he's going, we need to build a city on the moon ASAP so they can build these data centers and launch them from the moon and build like basically a city on the moon in the 2030s is when he wants to start doing it. So that's going to be a new frontier of business innovation and opportunities and things like that that come with it. So thought that was an important point to add.
A lower gravity, so you can get them off the ground, a lot less energy used. It's in space, so it's a lot colder. So all these data centers are going to be, super chilled because there's a vacuum, obviously. Loads of solar, and it'll be all powered by a digital currency that uses a massive hash rate. So that's what I'm looking at going, all that's going to be powered by Bitcoin, basically.
Stu, how do you use ChatGPT at a micro level in the business? Do you use it for documents? What do you use it for?
I use it for risk most of the time. If we've got something that's a bit risky, we'll put it through and let's look at the bit of SWOT analysis, like Jack said, really. So we'll put a situation into it and go, look, what is the outcomes could happen, and pay attention to it. The one thing I will say, though, is all these Epstein files that's cracking on.
There's another reason for why you should look into the CEOs and their kind of like ethos around the AIs, because OpenAI is already like this bias, like wokey model, which is why ChatGPT genuinely says such a good idea, you should do that, and like, you know, the four founders of America were black and female, and we should all celebrate diversity. Like it's an infested model, and Gemini had a similar issue. And I still don't fully trust Google to just make sure it's a source of truth model. Elon is so set on the full, and if you watch like his staff talks and like when they're scaling and introducing new like processes in the business and all that stuff, he films it online, and you can see all the staff members come on stage and talk about the new parts so that they're working on within the business, and all of them, the cultural mindset, the mission statement is an AI that is there to find the truth of the universe. Like that's their whole purpose, is truth seeking. And when you speak to Grok, it is really pragmatic. It doesn't blow smoke up your ass. It'll tell you if it's a bad idea. I find ChatGPT is quite bad with critical feedback. It tends to blow smoke up your ass a bit.
Aren't they self-teaching? I thought they were self-learning, so they're not actually being fed by any board of directors anyway, a bit like a decentralized blockchain. I thought it was a case of it would go there and it would just go and
No, they're trained.
go and fish the internet and find out.
Yeah, they're trained.
So we're saying Grok is the one we should be using.
I think if you want something that's going to disseminate absolute truth and be critical with its feedback, and something that in 5 years' time is most likely going to win the race, and you'd have put all this energy into its memories and things like that, I just think it's worth using the most optimal model for that in that sort of context. Before we move on to the next bit, just a couple little utilities that I use it for beyond what Jack and Stu have already mentioned. So I use it for job descriptions and ironing out exactly what team members I need based on tasks and the context of my business, and it will help me with that, help me with salary reviews and things like that as well. And another good one is I use it for quite a lot of like strategic documents, so framework agreements, call off order documents that we've been doing recently in construction, and getting it to set those up, and then helping me refine the legalities of those things and making sure that they're balanced but still covering our liability, so that it's not so that it's contained within like say our fee limits as opposed to like an open-ended limit, so it can give you those legal back and forths, the schedules and like itineraries for what type of schedule of works we want to build into our supply chain, and giving it all of that context, which when you think about doing that stuff manually is like weeks of work, but you could just do it in like an hour, quite quickly with a utility like that. So it goes beyond many domains. So it's well worth just become as a business owner using it as a consultant to figure out and ask it, how can you help me? And it will come up with loads of ideas, and you can just start to double down and go, that's an interesting one. Like staff reviews. I've had a staff member does this in the business, and they've done this and this and that. That's like not very good. And da da da. What's the best way for me to deal with them or to help them, or like should I discipline them? And it can just give you a feedback that's very impartial, unlike a human that would be think about their feelings, think about this, think about that. Like it will give you a purely impartial breakdown.